This video is going to cover Unit 26, Section 4, Areas of Triangles. Okay, so if we have a parallelogram, which in this case, let's make a rectangle. A rectangle is a parallelogram. Opposite sides are parallel and opposite sides are equal. Okay, and the area of this figure is equal to width times length. Or let's change that to, this would be the base and this could be the height. Area is equal to base times height. Okay? Now, if I cut that in half, right there, I have a triangle. So right here is a triangle. So the area of a triangle is base times height, but half of that. So that's where the equation for a triangle comes from, area of a triangle. Base times height divided by 2, or sometimes they just say 1/2 base times height. I prefer to write it this way because it makes it much more clear. All right, so let's take a look at a couple of different examples. So if I could have a triangle written like this, where I've got the base right here, and then the height right here. So this would be the height. Okay? But the height does not always have to be within the triangle itself. You can see an example of that on page 669 near the top, where we've got the base like that. Okay, so this would be the base, and I think they actually say that that's 22, and then the height is out here, and it's 19. So the area of this triangle is 22 times 19 divided by 2. Well, let me simplify this. 2 goes into that twice, 2 goes into that, 11. So 11 times 19. You don't always have to do that. It's just kind of convenient sometimes. 11 times 19. 209. So the area of this triangle is 209. So sometimes a triangle can be set up like this, and other times it could be set up like this. Base times height divided by 2. And sometimes you can be given a figure. Let me see if I can get this drawn. Like this right here. I'm looking at, still at page 669, near the center. This triangle is an isosceles triangle because this side is 160 and this side is 160, and then they give you the base as 210. Okay, how can I find the area of this triangle? Now, there is another way we can do that, which we're going to talk about in a moment. But because this is an equilateral, I can go ahead and draw that there, and that line, or that line from that peak right there down to the base, is going to cut this base right here in half. So 55 will be here, and 55 will be here. That gives me a triangle like this right here, where I've got 160 and 55. To find that right there, the length right there, we'll just call it length h. So h is equal to 160 squared minus 55 squared, and then the square root of that. So that'll give me the height. So the square root of 160 squared minus 55 squared. So that height is going to be 150.25. So, a couple of different ways we can look at that. We can find the area of this triangle right here, and then multiply it by 2, because this triangle, these two triangles are going to have the same area. Okay? You can do it that way. Or you can just say that there's my base right there, and there's my height right there. I multiply those two together and divide by 2. Well, I've already divided this one by 2 to get 55. So I can just say area is equal to 55 times 150.25. It's already been divided by 2. Or to write, I don't want to jump ahead too much. Area is equal to 210 times 150.25 divided by 2. And these two things are really the same thing. Because 210 divided by 2 is 55. Just to make sure that I didn't lose anybody in that. 55 times 150.25. So the area of that triangle is 8,263.75. Ta-da! Now, let's say we have a scalene triangle where we only know the sides. Now this one right here was an isosceles triangle. A couple things we know about an isosceles triangle is two of the sides are the same. These two angles are also the same. We know that. So if I draw a line perpendicular to the base from the apex, that's going to split these two right here. I know that that's going to split this one. So if I've been given this number, I can just simply cut it in half and use the Pythagorean theorem to find the height. Okay, but if you're given a triangle that's just a scalene triangle and you only have the three sides and we need to find the height. So at the top of page 670, we have, I'm going to make sure I pronounce this right, Heron's formula, Heron's, also known as Hero. I guess that's how you pronounce it. Okay, so what that is the area of a triangle is equal to, let me make sure I write this right, S times S minus A times S minus B. I don't use this very often, so I don't. Times S minus C, and then the square root of that whole thing. Okay, so that is the equation right here. Okay, A, B, and C are these lengths of the side. S is a number that we have to calculate. S is equal to 1/2, A plus B plus C. Once again, these are the sides, so this is what S is. Once you figure out what this is, then you plug it in here, 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 and here. All right? So let's take a look at a triangle like that. I'm not going to use the back side of this one because that just messes up. So let me erase all that. Got a new sheet, or a erased sheet. Oh, let's see here. Oh, they give me an example. So, let me 0. Okay, good. So this is 7.84, 5.12, and 10.2. Okay, now they show the height in there, but they don't give a number for it. So I'm not going to write that in because we're not going to use that. All right. Now, S, let me find out what S is first. So S is going to equal 10.2 plus 7.84 plus 5.12, all of that divided by 2, or multiplied by 1/2. The same thing. Okay, let me get my fraction bar out. 10.2 plus 7.84 plus 5.12, denominator 2. So S is equal to 11.58. Okay, so now let's put it into the actual equation, which is the, let me give myself some room. Area is equal to 11.58 times 11.58 minus, we'll call this A, 10.2. I'm not going to have enough room. I knew that was going to happen to me. I like to write big, so let's ignore that and let's waste some more of this paper. Area is equal to 11.58 times 11.58 minus 10.2 times 11.58 minus 5.12. It doesn't matter which side you call A, B, and C. It's irrelevant. 11.58 minus 7.84. Make sure I didn't mess any of that up. And then I need to take the square root of that whole thing. Ooh, that's a lot. Square root 11.58 parenthesis 11.58 minus 10.2 and the parenthesis 11.58 minus 5.12 parenthesis 11.58 minus 7.84 parenthesis. Now there's a whole lot of things to do in here. None of the individual parts are necessarily too complicated. Whenever you have a lot of things to do, first of all, we had to solve for S. Then we had to use S. And we had to put all these numbers in. So whenever you have a whole bunch of things to do, then the more times you have a chance to make a mistake, the more chances you have to make a mistake, even though the steps are not necessarily too difficult. So the area is 19 point, we'll call it 6.5 for that triangle. let's see, what did they get? Okay, they carried it over to one more decimal, 649. Okay, so I guess the rounding police will have to come and arrest me or something.